welcome to SSSLSG Gurukulam, free online classes in science. Very interesting chapter called metals and non-metals. How many of you have gone through it? Okay. If you have not gone through, once again you revise. Some equations have come there. Some interesting experiments have been told. So go through all of them, and once again we will make a small revision of what you have seen in the last class. Okay. Material around us are classified as metals and non-metals, and there is one more called metalloids like germanium, silicon, etc. So, can you name some metals what you see in the daily life? You have copper, you have gold, silver, is it not? Then sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, all these are called metals. And also you come across with the non-metals like oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, bromine, liquid non-metal, sulfur, phosphorus, carbon, etc., etc. More than 80 are metals, about 20, 22 are non-metals. So, also we have seen physical properties that most of the metals are solids except mercury. Mercury is a liquid non-metal, liquid metal. Whereas non-metals exist in three states of matter. Solids, example sulfur, phosphorus, carbon. Liquids, namely bromine. And also you have gases. Gases like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. They exist in all three states of matter. And also metals are malleable and ductile. Means you can beaten into sheets on heating. And you can be drawn into wires. What is the property called? Ductility. But non-metals are neither malleable nor ductile. And most of the metals are heavy. Non-metals are light in nature. And the metals have a shining luster. But non-metals don't have a shining luster except, except one, graphite. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity, but non-metals are not good conductors of heat and electricity except graphite. Okay, metals have a property of sonorous in nature, that gives a sound, and non-metals are not sonorous in nature. They break when they are beaten. Also, we have discussed about the chemical properties of metals and non-metals, reacts with oxygen, and what the compound of metals or non-metals with oxygen called? They are called oxides, and with the water they form hydroxides. Sodium plus water gives sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen. Is it not? So hydroxides are formed when they dissolve in water. So these are some of the things we have seen in the previous class. Coming to home assignments, Ramu took a piece of burning charcoal. What is a metal? What is a non-metal called here? Charcoal means it is carbon. Collected the gas evolved in a test tube. How will you find the nature of the gas? Write down the word equations of all reactions take place in the process. So when charcoal is burning, the gas is carbon dioxide. In villages, when they burn wood, you have seen some smoke coming out. And when it catches fire, it forms what is called as carbon dioxide. This gas can be tested by passing the gas through clear solution of calcium hydroxide. So when calcium hydroxide reacts with carbon dioxide, it becomes calcium carbonate. So carbon, that is C, plus oxygen O2 gives CO2. What kind of oxide it is? Acidic oxide. Why it is acidic oxide? Because it turns, or when it dissolves in water, it forms acids. And how do you test it? It can be tested by bringing a blue litmus paper into solution. It turns into red. So calcium hydroxide plus carbon dioxide. This is carbon dioxide. When it is passed to what is called as slaked lime, or you can say lime solution, plus carbon dioxide gives calcium carbonate plus water. So CaOH twice plus CO2 gives CaCO3 plus H2O. And here it becomes milky in nature. This is a clear solution. This clear solution, when carbon dioxide is passed through it, it becomes milky because of presence of carbon dioxide. Okay. So this is a very interesting reaction. You can try in home also, because in most of the houses they have got what is called calcium hydroxide. Correct? It's called slaked lime. So when you pass carbon dioxide, you will get it becomes milky in nature. Coming to second question, write the reaction of sodium with cold water. Sodium reacts with cold water. How? This is cold water, important. It reacts vigorously, very fast. What does it form? It forms sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen. So sodium Na plus water is H2O, NaOH is sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen. So this is a reaction, and reaction is vigorous. And how do you test this? If you bring some litmus paper and put in a solution, what change you observe? Red becomes blue in nature. What does it show? That this is nothing but an alkali. How do you get alkali? Alkalis are formed when basic oxide dissolved in water. Third question, white phosphorus is always kept in cold water. Why? Suppose you keep it outside, what happens? It reacts with oxygen, it is very highly reactive. When you say phosphorus, there are two types. One is white phosphorus, another is red phosphorus. Red phosphorus is not so much reactive. It catches fire when exposed to air, forming phosphorus pentoxide. That is why it is kept in cold water. It has no reaction with cold water. Correct? So this is the reaction of answer to the home assignment. Coming to topics of today, reactions of metals with acids. There are three famous inorganic acids. What are they? Hydrochloric acid. Repeat. Sulfuric acid, H2SO4. Repeat. Nitric acid, HNO3. Repeat. Now when you say acids, can you name some of the acids of daily use? Anybody? Every day you are using acids. One of them is lactic acid. What we call it as buttermilk. How many use buttermilk for your food? All of you? Yeah, buttermilk is very common and very enjoyable food. That is called lactic acid. Then you have tartaric acid. Tartaric acid that you find in turmeric. Then also you have citric acid. Citric acid is present in lemons and also oxalic acid and so on. So these are acids of daily use. These are the inorganic acid. They are organic acids and they are always kept in strong bottles in laboratory with a closed tight lid. Okay. Now most of the metals react except copper, gold, silver and gold react with hydrochloric acid, forming the respective chlorides, liberating hydrogen gas. For example, sodium, magnesium, calcium, etc. So sodium plus hydrochloric acid. And where is sodium kept? Sodium is always kept in kerosene. Sodium plus hydrochloric acid gives sodium chloride plus hydrogen. That is the reaction. How do you test hydrogen? You must have a burning splinter. You must light it in a lamp, say spirit lamp or candle, etc. and bring that lighted splinter into the jar of hydrogen. What do you get? We find a pop noise. Pop noise is heard. Why does it pop noise is heard? Because it is a combustible gas. It catches fire of its own accord. That is why it gives pop noise. Some metals like magnesium, iron, etc. react with sulfuric acid, forming respective sulfates, liberating hydrogen gas. For example, magnesium plus sulfuric acid gives magnesium sulfate plus hydrogen gas. Hydrogen is a combustible gas. Note this name. Combustible means what? Catches fire of its own accord. Okay, and that's why it gives pop noise with a burning splinter. So magnesium, similarly iron also reacts, forming magnesium sulfate plus hydrogen. The liberation of hydrogen gas can be detected by the pop sound when a burning splinter is kept into the jar. Hydrogen is known as a combustible gas. What is combustible means what? Catches fire of its own accord. And there is one more gas called supporter of combustion. Oxygen is a supporter of combustion. So non-metals generally do not react with acids. Only special cases, that's all. Lemons, that is citric acid, buttermilk, lactic acid, tamarind, tartaric acid are some of the examples of organic acids of daily use. So note the names. Citric means lemons, lactic means buttermilk, tartaric means tamarind. Okay. And what about bases? When metals react with bases, what are bases? Metallic oxides are called bases. So when, for example, metals react with bases like sodium hydroxide solution, to form hydrogen gas, which is detected by the pop sound heard in a burning splinter. So, some of the metals react with sodium hydroxide, some react with potassium hydroxide, some react with calcium hydroxide, and what do you get? You get a hydrogen gas. What kind of gas it is? It is a combustible gas. How do you know? Because it catches fire of its own accord. Okay? So it is a combustible gas. Come on, let us see home assignment. First question, give two examples each of organic and inorganic acids. Hydrogen is called a combustible gas. Why? What happens when magnesium reacts with dilute sulfuric acid? Write a chemical equation for the reaction. Can I write it? Okay, try. Now let us see what Sadguru Madhusudan Sai says. Who is the Sadguru Madhusudan Sai? He is a student of Sri Sathya Sai College, gold medalist. Now he has become Sadguru by the blessings of his Guru, namely Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Now he lives in Mudenalli and travels all over the world. He says you should always be alert and ready to do whatever your Guru tells you to do. He has done it. That's why an ordinary student became a genius Sadguru. Karishye vachanam tava. Okay? You never know when and where and what and how he will guide you. When does he guide you? Where does? What and how he will guide you, don't know. Be ready. So first one is Karishye vachanam tava. Follow whatever he says. Second one is be ready. Whenever the call comes, you must be ready. Be just an instrument in his hands to fulfill his wish. So whatever wishes he had will be fulfilled through you. Okay? This is the message of Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. So come prepared with the answers for home assignment. Thank you.